I'm Robbie Fuller. I'm a category designer in charge of advanced footwear concepts in the U.S. So things like adizeros and Crazy Light and getting into football and some running products as well.
So you're the main designer for the Light 2, Crazy Light 2.
Yeah.
So kind of talk to us about like what exactly does that mean? When they say you're the main designer, do you come up with the technology? Do you just design the look of the shoe? Like, talk to us about that.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the lucky guy that gets to be the point person for about a team of 80 behind me, right? Literally, from the innovation team, which is like a group that works like 5 to 7 years out on breakthroughs, make you jump higher, run faster, biomechanics, polymer experts, right? That group. And then I work with the marketing team, the brief, how many colors are we gonna do, where's it gonna go, what's the price? So we all sit around the table, and while they're talking, it's my role to have the pen in my hand, and they talk, and I draw, and they talk and I draw, and at the end of the day, what we've all talked about ends up kind of working its way into reality.
So let's talk about performance.
Okay.
Obviously, because basketball sneakers, mostly performance. Looks are great, but it's more about performance. So you guys made this 3 ounces, 3 ounces.
0.3.
0.3 ounces. 0.3 ounces.
Yeah.
Not a 3.
6 ounce shoe.
It's a 6 ounce shoe. 0.3 ounces lighter. So does that mean like do we take some stuff away to the 0.3? Like how does that happen?
It's crazy, right? Like crazy, right? We took away, we actually added a lot of things and then ended up with less weight. So, and it's just by being smart. Like literally, like I said, with like the sprint frame. We had the sprint frame on the last one, but we were just, while everybody was celebrating the Crazy Light 1 launch, we were at the desk in the room, tearing pieces off, circling areas that we were like, yep, that's not achieving what it could achieve. So with the sprint frame, we said, hey, could it be larger? Could we use more of it to stiffen up the shoe to add more support? That's a good example. With the sprint web, the first one was 2-layer, but we were like, okay, how are we going to make this thing even thinner, closer to the foot, nice, sleek, aerodynamic, and lighter? And so about 3 years in the making, we've been working on this new sprint web, aerodynamic sprint web execution. No seams. It's completely like in the industry. The difference between this is how fine it is and how smooth and how it reduces drag. The outsole, one of the key parts of the brief were like, hey, can you actually get it to be good for indoor and outdoor? So went back on the herringbone pattern, the traction, which was awesome, like the pivot point, how it kind of echoes out, turns into backpedaling in the hill. Like we changed the section so that it's even more, a little bit thicker. It's like perimeter weighted, just like a car. You move everything out to as far as possible for stability. We moved all the rubber thickness. It's thicker on the outside edge around the whole shoe because that not only makes it stable, but also that's where all the abrasion on all of our tests show this is where the most wear is. So why do you need the same amount of rubber everywhere? Just make sure it's in the most high abrasion areas. We have a new rubber that is higher abrasion for the toe. So the last one had the molded plastic toe cap, and this one we just saw too much toe drag, and we wanted to protect against that. Even down to the point that you have a line on it that's raised instead of recessed, so you have to wear it through the bumper first before you get down to the next level. The laces are 40% lighter than the last one. The whole look of the shoe, so we knew it was going to be light and fast, but how do you make it look lighter and faster? And so from a graphic standpoint, really inspired by this idea of like full throttle. So that's what we call like muscle cars that back in the day that just had like red and black racing stripe across them. So like that's kind of where this comes from. You get that lifted look with that 3-color, kind of pop. And you can do it like this, or you can go with more of a gradient from white to dark gray on some of the samples.
Now, speaking, like you talked about playing outside in the shoes. Like, how does the material like the upper withstand playing outdoors versus playing indoors?
So I mean, mostly the change was on the outsole to make sure it can stand up to outdoor courts versus the hardwood. But also, kind of looking at the shoe, making sure it's more protected. So this one, it's not as see-through as the first one, but it's on purpose just for that extra protection on outdoor courts. We still have breathability, focus in exactly the right place. The inside of your shoe is where the most, or inside of your foot is where the most sweat glands and the most opportunity to get the heat out. So we kept that. But for me, one part of that also was, with the first one you saw it, it looked light and it was light. I knew with the second one we were going to be lighter, but I wanted it to be shocking when you picked it up. So I thought, well, what would be more shocking than like something that you get up to and you're like, oh, this is a pretty strong shoe, and then like, whoa, it's even lighter than the last one, you know? So I think that's a reassuring thing for every baller that puts this on, like, wow, it's lighter and it's got all this, you know? And it just begs the question, like, yeah, how'd they do that?
Right.
And hopefully this covers it.